Good evening, people. Hopefully, we're all okay. Well, I know I am. I know everyone else will be anyway. But how are we? Hopefully, you're all having a great weekend and a good evening. And hopefully, we're all happy with yesterday. So, yeah. Welcome back to the DB Show, people, anyway, where we do all QPR transfer news, transfer rumours, and all latest news, as well as football news as the EFL kicks off this week, people. I'm happy. Hopefully, you guys are happy. Football's back. I'm not going to lie. Very emotional DB today. Very emotional DB. Was pretty much on the alcohol pretty much late last night. So, yeah. Crazy weekend for me. Crazy weekend. I'm so happy. I really am. I'm hoping for you lot are as well. Before we start, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, if you haven't already, and let's get into this. So see who's in the chat first. So Seed, Mikey, more rumors are crazy. You know, I looked on Twitter today. We'll get into that in a bit, but I'll be honest, I'm not too sure about it just because of who's posted it. Foley, good to see you in the chat, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. We're just watching the game. QPR posted the full 90 minutes, mate. Honestly, we'll talk about it in a second, but yeah, hopefully you did catch up with everything and got the match reaction as well from earlier on that I posted today. That was a long edit to do. I was pretty screwed and fucked doing that and recording. You probably could see it as well. But hopefully you're okay, Foley, and hopefully no work soon. Hopefully you're on your break. Paul says, hey DB, how are you? I'm good, Paul, man. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you're okay. How are you? Bajuri, yo, how are you feeling about Bolton next week? I was also watching the full 90, Bajuri says. So I'm feeling comfortable in the sense of where we're at home. But I'm also nervous because of I did watch Bolton play obviously yesterday, and they look okay. They do look okay. So you know, I think tomorrow is the big one. Tomorrow's the big one, the game of the week in my opinion. Wrexham v Cardiff, big Welsh derby, and yeah, we'll see tomorrow what's going on. But some big shocks already in the EFL. Some big shocks. So yeah, Smart Butler fame tuning still top. Only the Lamb Ticklers and Sheep Brothers to play tomorrow. Could be top for the whole week. I'd be honest, I was shitting it on the Southampton game today. I was very shitting it. I was hoping and praying Southampton would get back into that game. Thinking Eckhart would do the job. Jump then, come on, come say hello. Come on then, let everyone, little ones come say hello today to you lot. She usually comes in when she starts hearing me do my little podcast with you guys. Oh, right. So Foley, what a win! Bring on Bolton. Paul, I'm good. Cheers. Just got a minor concussion at the moment. Hopefully you're okay, mate. Hopefully it's not to do with anything too serious apart from maybe QPR getting you on the drink. Bolton first goal was a gift from goalkeeper. I personally don't think Bolton are a threat. Listen, we'll see what happens, but we got some big stuff to get into today because it's serious shit as well. Bashir says, after yesterday, what do you think of the best Steineck side? I really can't predict that right now. I'll be honest. I will think about it during this the show today. I will think about it and I'll let you know. Just remind me at the end. Remind me at the end while I think about it. But I really want to talk about what all the news that's going on at the moment. I'll talk about the Twitter stuff in a bit, but the big stuff right now, obviously QPR yesterday getting an incredible win at Fratton Park for the first time in a long time, and also an incredible win in the sense of winning the first game of the season. Yeah, winning first game of the season. And cheers, Harvey. Hi, Dan. It's David, your donut. Hi, how are you? Just call me DB if you want. Yeah, so first game of the season, our first ever win since Mark Warburton was in charge back in 2020, I believe it was, against Nottingham Forest, where we won 2-0. And on the same day, Ilias Share was a killer on that day as well. But yeah, look, you lot know me, man. You lot pretty much have watched me last season. If you were here last season, I know Foley's been here for about 2 seasons now. And yeah, I would sit here and say, you know, everyone knows me well, how much I feel about how I really feel about Julian Stefan. You know, I really did like Marty as well, but Julian is different mint. Honestly, Julian is one. I've backed him last season completely. I took a lot of insults. Why are you backing him? Why are you backing him? He's got to go. But honestly, I stick to my decision. There's something there about him that I really enjoy, and I think honestly, I keep to my word. You know that. I really hope we don't get a problem in the sense of where people are not happy with what he's doing. Alright, everyone's going on about names now. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ. Alright, relax, guys, relax. I never knew you was here for 4 years, mate. I wish I was on my phone, tripped over and smashed my head on it. Oh, Paul, man. Hopefully you're okay, man. Yes, but look, the game yesterday, you know, if you want to go watch the full reaction, go watch the video. It's there on the channel. Go watch that. I'm not going to really talk about it too much, but all I will say is this. We saw 35 minutes of it, or 30 minutes of a disappointing part, and obviously got into the game. You know, we all know what Terry Devlin's like. I've been bringing him up pretty much all summer. I have been talking about him. I honestly feel like he is a Julian player. But I also sit here as well and say, look, do we really need another right back? So I can't sit here and say much on the scene of Terry Devlin. You know, I think we're doing okay with our defence now. I don't think there's any issues in the sense of needing to sign someone urgently in defence unless it's a centre-back. The wing backs, perfectly, fullbacks, we have plenty now, and good quality depth as well, which I'm really happy with. But I would sit here and say right now the main concern is this. So obviously Terry Devlin, quality goal yesterday. Let me just say that yesterday. The main concern for me right now is that Boy Kemper went off injured. Koki Sato went off injured, and I didn't know about this one. Apparently Amadou and Benge as well went off injured, and now I have a bit of news on the Boy Kemper one. Now Boy Kemper one looked like he injured his knee, but it actually wasn't. So apparently, according to West London Sport, Julian Stefan described the Dutch left back's injury as a bad one to his ankle. So that is not looking great for us for the season. But I will sit here and say this. Apart from Boy Kemper, obviously we have Dennis Serkin, who is quality, and he can play. Obviously, we've recently signed him on Friday. We've only spoke about him, not really much on live stream, just mainly on a video. But I would sit here and say we've signed a great player in Dennis Serkin for sure. But we also would say he can play in a variety of positions, including centre-back, in midfield, left mid, left wing, and everything like that. But I think for me, right now, obviously we have Dennis Serkin, but I also believe Adamson had a very good game yesterday compared to what I thought he was going to have on that left-hand side. Maybe he's been getting a chance, and hopefully we get to see more of that. You know, we've seen all of this injuries last season. Boy Kemper looks like he might be out for maybe a couple of weeks. The only thing I would say is Julian has only stated to West London Sport that it was a bad ankle injury. So I'm not too sure if it's a couple of weeks or a serious one. News will come out soon about it. Obviously, Madsen obviously didn't make an appearance at all whatsoever. He wasn't even on the bench. A lot of people were saying different things about Madsen yesterday, about how in his new contract he had a 15 million buyout clause, but at the end of the day, I don't see him going anyway. But yeah, Boy Kemper's injured. Koki Sato, I'm not too sure what's happened with Koki, but if it was serious, they would have mentioned it. So he's just gone off. It could have been cramp. It could have been anything. And Benge wise, obviously someone said to me that Benge went off, which I didn't know about. But for what you lot are saying, it's just cramp. So hopefully it is just that. Like I said, I can't report anything on Mbenge because I didn't know he actually went off. All I got told was that he went off with an injury, but it could have just been cramp, like you said. A lot of the time, West London Sport do report shit that is kind of annoying. And I think a lot of people on Twitter do hate West London Sport on the QPR stuff as well, with Kevin Gallen and all that. You know, I don't know what to say because I don't really watch it and don't listen to it. So, yeah, all I can say is what I wanted some information to give to you guys. And for what I've been told is that they're the only 3 players that I've been told that pretty much went off with, like, a knock or serious injury. So, yeah. But I don't know how long Boy Kemper's going to be out for, but it does look like it could be bad. In the sense of a couple of weeks, maybe a month. But listen, look, at the end of the day, we have cover. I think Boy Kemp is going to be sadly missed for a while, but I'm not too sure what's going to happen with Dennis Sirkin at the moment. I don't know if he's ready, and yeah, hopefully fitness tests going into that game. See how it goes on training sessions on Tuesday and Thursday when the lads come back. Obviously Monday training sessions as well. But yeah, it should be fun. It should be fine. I think we're in a good comfortable position with players. Like I said, I think there's still depth we need to get covered in there, which I'm not too sure about what positions, if we're interested in anyone. For me, for looking at the team yesterday, I would say a midfielder and a winger. Personally, that's what I would say. A midfielder and a winger. If Collie does go, I would personally say a winger, but yeah, I'm not too sure. But that's all the news for yesterday's game anyway. So yesterday's game, like I said, if you want to go catch up, we'll go into the video. We'll talk about it. I've talked about it constantly there. You know, I'm very pleased with seeing Ilias share. He looks a lot fitter this season, a lot better, and hopefully a much more positive Ilias share, and hopefully we can give him that positivity as well. Let's not shit on him so much like we did last season and stuff like that. What else was there? Ronnie Edwards, yeah, right. So I actually wanted to bring this up because obviously we're live. So if you did watch the preview show on Friday, now not saying, look, I'm not saying they're watching the channel. I'm not saying they're watching the channel, but I find it a bit weird how I did say, right? I did say, and if you watch the preview show, I did say this. As it's Portsmouth and as we struggled so much against them at Pompey, at Fratton Park, whatever you want to call it, I stated that Jake Clark-Salter should play in that game with Jimmy Dunn at the back, with Ronnie Edwards in midfield. I said that I don't know. I was shocked to see the lineup. I honestly thought it could have been 5 at the back. But the only reason why I said, personally for me, Jake Clark-Salter and Jimmy Dunn is because of the fact being that if you saw, like, we saw the game yesterday and what I've been saying, and anyone on Twitter, not mentioning any names, wanted to say that I don't know analysis and shit like that. Portsmouth throw in a lot of crosses. They do. They really do. And we struggled with them on Boxing Day. We did last season. And Jay Clark-Salter and Jimmy Dunn would have been the most suitable roles in the centre-back positions to get that ball out of there from the area because of their strength, height, and jump. Ronnie Edwards, not exactly amazing in the air. He is tall. But I wouldn't sit here and say that he would be well suited in that role if there was stuff like that coming over the top. But to put him in midfield, I would honestly say it was a great decision. Cool. There were certain challenges in there that weren't great. It took us some time to get into the game. But personally, like I said, like the Terry Devlin goal, yeah, it should have been closed down. I'll be honest, it's not just Chair. There was other players there that could have closed him down as well. So there's that as well. But after 35 minutes, I would sit here and say, full on, absolutely quality. You know, that first half after 35 minutes, we looked like we was really doing bits, you know, working hard, working up to the goal, and obviously the counter-attacks were brilliant. Chair, Burrell, even Poku and Amadou and Benge on that right-hand side, absolutely amazing. Honestly, very impressed with Poku yesterday. Harvey Vale, it's a bit different seeing him in a different position. It is, and obviously a lot of people have been criticizing him for it, but you got to remember, in that position he's probably not going to perform at the same level as what he was on the right hand side last season. So he's in a different position this season. I personally think he's doing a great job still, but yeah, I honestly think we're going somewhere now with this team. I think, like I said, Julian has built his team. Still stuff to go with it, and I fully trust the process. And from last season as well to this season, I'm absolutely looking forward to what I'm going to see in the next couple of weeks. Because I honestly believe in August, like Foley said, like I've said, like most of you have said as well, Ryan, I can mention a lot of names. The amount of good games we have to get these points in August, from now till August, we've got to be putting them points on the board for sure, you know? Like, we've got our 3 points in Portsmouth. We got Bolton. We need to get that 3 points on Bolton for sure. And them other games in August as well. You know, we got pretty much from now till, I would say, end of September, a good 2 months to get some points on the board to stay in the top 10. Because after September, that's when the real challenges come for QPR. You know, we got some of the big guns that we got to deal with. So, look. Right now, depth, squad, quality, absolutely buzzing for it. And the game yesterday, I couldn't be more happy with how we came back to get the result. I would sit here and agree with Julian in the sense of our performance could have been way better in playing style. You know, we've seen us against Fiorentina, we've seen us against Millwall, how we can pass the ball and how we can play. But it took such a long time to do that yesterday, and we need to kind of get that on point straight away in a game. So that is one thing that I really liked. Obviously, Charles, Charles is impressed the whole championship this season, and I can see why Man City have bought him. But the thing that I hate the most about it is that never fall in love with a lone player. Never fall in love with a lone player, because if whatever happens next season, promotion, we need him. We need that keeper to stay at QPR. We need him, and if there was a chance to sign him, honestly, it would be brilliant. So yeah, but at the end of the day, that second half was a bit of a up and down game between both teams. You know, Portsmouth were trying to kill it off in the last, obviously, part of the second half. But we did really well to defend, and look, there was some phenomenal saves from Charles. Really, there was some phenomenal saves, and look, a lot of people can obviously say his kicking ability in the second half was not exactly great, but at the end of the day, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. So I would sit here and say I'm very happy with what the squad has been doing, and obviously to get the 3 points yesterday. So yeah. But that's all injuries. That's all yesterday. Now, going on to your comments now, because there's a lot of people that have been commenting, and I got to remember where we left the comments. So, let's have a look. Chip off the block. Good to see you, mate. Very happy Sunday evening to you, DB. Thank you. No need to ask how you and all the Ars fans are. Mate, I'll be honest, I'm hanging. I really am. I had a crazy night last night, absolutely thumping head, and yeah, it's been a while since I've actually celebrated a win like that, you know. So I think the main thing was the performance. You know, I'm very happy with the squad, what we're doing, what we're bringing in, and yeah, I'm just very happy, man. Very happy happy chap today. So yeah, yeah, I would love to have signed Devlin. Foley says, yeah, Devlin would have been great signing for us, but I think right now it's not even needed, to be honest. Look, if we do need a right back in this season, I would say look at him, but it's hard to say depending on what goes on. Probably insane, but would absolutely love a player that could play left back, right back, and centre back. We have a player that can play left back and right back, but we don't have a player that can play centre back. So, as in all three roles of them. So yeah, see it. What a win. Soon as we went 1-0 down, I thought, here we go again, but fair play to the team. Got stuck in and got the win. Glad to see Chair back and playing. Paul says, mate, honestly, phenomenal player. Honestly, he is phenomenal player. And I said it in the match reaction. I stated this season he's gonna be a fucking star, man. Honestly, and I really want him to get that player of the season in the championship because he fucking deserves it, man. Sorry for my language, people, but it's the honest truth, man. Yesterday's game and Millwall's game, honestly, that's the chair that I'm used to seeing. Honestly, that is the chair that I'm used to seeing. Tigana, good to see you, mate. Axel would be a good signing. He would be. I think he's a freebie and he at the moment, but I think his wage is a bit high. I'm not too sure if it's something that we can sort out, but you know, centre back would be great, but I don't know what's going on with signings. I know that Bingley has gone to AFC Wimbledon, Gilhurst, so that was a bit of a drop down for him. Bit surprised that he went there. Kemper was holding his knee, though I know he was holding his knee, but apparently it was an ankle issue, so I'm not too sure if it was West London talking shit or what. And Bengue went off with cramp, not injured, so thank you to Ghana. Hopefully it is just cramp. Fo says, yeah, everyone was cramping up, Chair said. Yeah, I think a lot of work went into yesterday. You know, you could see in Millwall game, everyone was a bit tired, but I think yesterday Portsmouth put in a great performance, and that's why I'm so happy, because going to Portsmouth is hard for any team. You know, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble when you go there. So yeah, Bajuri and Bengue is fine, fingers crossed. Foley says Edwards in midfield was a wise choice. He played well. He played all right. I would say there's certain things that need to be improved in the sense of where tackling wise was a bit concerning, but yeah. Connor Wells, seen rumours about Mikey Moore coming in on loan. I believe there's only one tweet that's been mentioned on Twitter, but I'm not too sure if it's a reliable source, so I'm not sure. People are sleeping on Jake Locksort's performance too. I think Jake Locksort played a great performance yesterday, and that's why I said I wanted him in the squad. You know, I still think he has something there. It's just the injuries. He needs to stay fit to see the best Jake Locksort that we have. So, honestly, hopefully he stays fit. And if he does, we got one hell of a player there. Yeah, West London Sport are idiots. Questions they ask, Foley says. Crip says, West London Sport is too negative. That's why we like your show, bro. You're realistic but positive. Thank you, Crip. Much appreciated. Couple ITK people on X saying Mikey Moore and the forums. Okay, see, well, I'm not too sure. Like I said, on X, it just looks like one person's tweeted something and it's called a stir. So I'm not too sure what's going on with Mikey Moore. It would be great. It'd be a great signing, but the problem is, it's a lot of wage, that is. That is a hell of a lot of wage Mikey Moore's on. So yeah, unless Tottenham are willing to pay half of it or whatever, then cool. Connor Wells, yeah, WS have gone way downhill since Dan Bennett left. Did the women lose today? Does anyone know if the women lost? I didn't actually catch it, which is pretty bad. Did you see where we're loan linked to Mikey Moore? 0920 says. Foley, I think we smashed Bolton back at home as well with the support, 100%. Bajuri, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. WS are miserable sods, but West London Sports, sorry. I thought you meant women, the ladies team, sorry. My apologies, my apologies. I just realised West London Sport you mean. I thought you meant the women. My apologies. Miserable sods, but I don't dislike them. I'm like having... Listen, look, I think West London Sport, some of them are good for reports, but when it comes down to having podcasts and meetings with Julian Stefan or anyone like that, and then you want to come out and say, are you picking the team, Julian? Bit of a stupid question if you don't mind me saying, but yeah, that's the only thing that I would sit here and say is some questions are a bit stupid to say to a head coach, you know. Lee says, I'd say a bad ankle injury generally isn't as bad as a bad knee injury. Thankfully, fortunately, at left back, we have plenty of backup. Escudina, Sirkin, Adamson, Lakesh. I think Addison takes over Escudina and Lakesh right now, personally. I think Adamson performed brilliant yesterday. I do. So, yeah. But let's see what happens. We got Bolton. He'll probably not play a serious team. He'll probably play some youth. Like, I reckon Isaac might be a good shout for Bolton. To be honest, in midfield. Chair should have closed Devlin down for the goal. Foley says, I don't think just Chair. I think Ronnie was there as well. And I also think there was another player, which I can't think of who it was now, who I think it might have been Harvey Vale. I'm not too sure. But 3 players should have been closing that shot down for sure. But look, like I said, Portsmouth with set pieces are a danger for us. I'm just kind of glad Bishop was stopped as well. Both Esquilin and Lakesh are leaving. The likely chances are before the end of the transfer window, probably, you know, Lakesh hasn't really been involved in the team recently, or lately I should say. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen with them. But Escudina will probably go out on loan. He has been playing in the development squad. So, yeah. Fo says, Charles' distribution was fire. It was. There were some mistakes, but listen, look. I don't think anyone can sit here and say a keeper's perfect, you know. There's always going to be problems in the in the goalkeeper area and the defense. So yeah, but I think we've got a quality keeper on our hands, and like I said, never fall in love with a lone player, man. First said Burrell played well too. Do you know what? The thing was with Burrell, right? Obviously, just because he didn't score doesn't mean anything, you know. I think Burrell is more of a contribution to the team as well as not just goals, but to be in there as well with his pace. You know, he was playing up front in his natural position yesterday. But I also do agree with this. I do think he can play right wing, but I think the reason why he didn't really perform well against Millwall was that he apparently had a knock and he couldn't run well. It was very uncomfortable for him. So when that happens, you can't really put your fastest player on the wing to do what you need to do. So yeah. Chair was confused. Wait, hang on. Chair was confused. Oh wait, hang on. Someone's confusing me now. Sorry, I missed that. Chair was confused as to who was meant to be marking Devlin. It was definitely a miscommunication. Yeah, look, like I said, mistakes are gonna happen for sure in the midfield and in the team. But what we do is we work on it. We work on it on the training ground and we go from there. And, you know, we got to close it down a lot more when someone we look at a lot more, especially if the fans are pointing out saying Terry Devlin is that guy that does that. You know, the players, the manager, the head coach, the coaches should know that already. So, yeah. JS said we did not panic, kept to the game plan, which was definitely what we were doing, but even he said, and I agree with him, we weren't the best. You know, we can be better, and I agree with that. You know, we weren't the best and we can be better, and that's why I said, imagine us playing our best and our best team and still winning like that is incredible, you know. Man City may loan him again next season. Well, hopefully we buy him. You know, if we get promoted, I reckon we could buy him personally. So yeah, if they don't expect us to pay like 100 mil for him. Harry Stone, good to see you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Are Mikey Moore rumours coming from a journalist? Can only see it coming from an Ars fans. I can only see the Mikey Moore thing coming from a guy that's had post banned and stuff like that off Twitter, but that could also mean that some of his tweets could be serious and obviously they didn't like it. So yeah, I'm not too sure if it's true or not. We have to wait and find out, you know. So yeah, H-Football says if we get Mikey Moore, I think we have a chance of top 2. Jeez, H-Football, that's a big statement there, bruv. Big statement. But look, we're top 1 at the moment, so yeah, you never say never. Seed says 100%. Ryan, good to see you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. I can see you've been active on Twitter, getting involved with a certain someone. So yeah, hope we bloody sign Mikey Moore. Ryan says. H Football Chair looks so happy after scoring. I'm happy for him. Yeah, Chair. I'm think he's gonna be player of the season for QPR. I think he is. I said it already in yesterday's match. Well, this morning's match reaction. I think he's just going to be superb, you know. I think young player of the season, we've already can claim that's going to be Isaac as well. So yeah. Crazy how Kamara got a chance 10 minutes into his debut. You know, the weirdest thing is, it's like, so I actually had to get some information on Kamara because obviously, yeah, we did watch him for Leeds and stuff like that, but this is the interesting part. Now, Kamara is at the right level for his ability. You know, he is a top player for championship football. He really is, right? And the thing was, because of his age, I wasn't really surprised and shocked what signing and all of that, because I know how good he is in a championship. But what I would say is that if Premiership football does happen, he will not be a solid player in the Premiership because he's not exactly had a great time in the Premiership. So look, I think it's a quality signing for us right now, but we'll see what happens. Look, it's just a loan signing at the moment and we go from there. But he did superb yesterday when he came on. You know, he wasn't exactly like what I would say is an attacking threat, but he was controlling that midfield and helping him in the middle very well. So I'm very happy and pleased to see that. So yeah. Ryan says, seen people saying there are multiple rumours for him, only seen one. Yeah, but to be honest, look, people are going to say stuff on Twitter because they want it, they'll push it out there. So yeah. Foley says, Poker really stepped up as well. 100% on that one. I really enjoy watching him yesterday. Seed says, it's a loan, so probably won't pay anything. Well, fingers crossed, but he's definitely not going to get game time tomorrow if it does happen. Not tomorrow. He ain't going to get game time at Tottenham. So hopefully, fingers crossed, is someone that we can bring in. But I honestly think, obviously, he said we're trying to bring in 2 more players, and I think Sirkin was one of them, and I think we got 1 more coming in. I don't think there's going to be any more than that. I think that's going to be it. I think the rest of it is going to be outgoings, and the likely chances are, if Collie does go, Collie goes. And chances are, if Lakesh and Escudina go, cool. But I think we'll talk about it after, because there's another thing that I wanted to talk about with the youth team as well. So yeah, Sayo as well has really stepped up with the physical game. I think him, Paul Smith, and everyone like that deserve a huge amount of respect with what they do on the pitch, for sure. You know, Paul Smith gets a lot of haters, I would say, on Twitter. I don't know why. Look, whether you're a young person that doesn't and just wants to see skills, I don't know what to say. You know, Paul Smith is not a skillful guy, but he will work his heart off and his socks off for the team. So I'm not too sure why people hate him. I think he's brilliant. I think he's good for the team. And yeah, I don't know why people hate him. It's really confusing. So yeah. Women team won 1-0. Okay, Paul. Well, that's a big step up. That is. Kevin Gallen is down on the team as well. Puzzles me. I'm not too sure, Foley, I'll be honest. Like, Kevin Gallen's always been Kevin Gallen, you know. Kevin Gallen is not afraid to say what he wants. So yeah. If you don't remember Kevin Gallen days, he used to get into fight. Well, I wouldn't say he used to get into fights, but he used to cause a lot of fights with opponents. So yeah. Apparently the guy has got a lot of stuff right before, but who knows? Maybe that's why it's been some of his tweets have been removed before. Maybe because of that. I'm not too sure. QPR Ryan says, no, I ain't been beefing anyone lately. No worries, mate. But I do see you comment a lot on a lot of their tweets. So yeah, no worries. It's all good. It's all banter. Harrison Clark, Kamara looks class. If we get Mikey Moore, we're winning the league. You ours. Look, Mikey Moore, like I said, if it happens, it happens. I can't sit here and say, you know me, guys. I'm not. Look, I like Mikey Moore. I think he's an outstanding prospect. I think he's brilliant. But you know me on this channel. I'm not going to say something that hasn't happened just yet. Until I see that here we go, or that sign from Christian Nuri and Julian with the thumbs up and that. You know how QPR are. They keep everything silent. They're a quiet team, bruv. I don't know how they get it quiet and do it that way. But look, we will have a quality sign in there. So yeah. Foley says, DB, your thoughts on why Kone didn't start? I think it was more because of a tactical decision, not because of his ability or whatever. I just think tactical decision, because he has Julian Stefan. Let me just get a drink quickly. Sorry. Listen, look. Julian Stefan is a tactical manager, head coach. When he wants to, he will change things. You know, he's the type of guy that won't go with the same stuff style of play each game all the time, unless he has a comfortability problem where, for example, last season 4-4-2, 4-4-2, 4-4-2. Now, Kone, whether he's coming back off of a knock or not fitness test or whatever, I'm not too sure, but he made the right decision. You know, it was a surprise not to see Kone even come on, but at the end of the day, his tactical decision was correct in my opinion, because he done well with the subs. So yeah, but look, I think hopefully Kone is gonna be back to normal soon, back to the team, and yeah, from there. So yeah, Crip says Jules take us to the Prem in the next 2 seasons. I think give it to, look, I've said this, I've said not this season but next season, but the way looking at how teams are, like the championship is a crazy scenario. And someone did say, like I said at the start of the season, someone said last time Spain won a trophy, we got promoted. So you never know what will happen. So yeah, I do think Collie would have suited the game yesterday. Just no, you're Foley, look, you're entitled to say what you can, man. At the end of the day, I think Collie's great, but it looks like, look, I think Collie's great. I'm not saying he's shit, because he's not. I think he's a brilliant player, and people go by either stats or whatever, but in my opinion, he's shown what he can do on the field, and that's the main thing. You know, the reason why his stats are bad is because he hasn't really played that many games QPR. So, but it looks like something's going on at the club with him, and I'm not too sure, but all the best to him for the future, whatever happens. I would love to see him stay in a QPR shirt, but it doesn't look like it's a promising sign at the moment. So yeah. Foley says, Hulk smash that like button for DB. Thank you, Foley. H-Ball says Adamson played well when he came on, did not look out of play. Look, that left side, he looks like a left back. Honestly, when he plays right back, doesn't really look like he's there. But that left back position, he played really well, and I was really happy with seeing Adamson performing. So look, Julian obviously had full confidence to bring him into the game. They could have brought on somebody else. They could have, but there was full confidence in him to play. So yeah. Ryan says only if someone has been an idiot on Twitter. Pretty much that's what he's saying. Ryan, I hope you're well, mate. Ryan said, how does the club keep signing the secret though? Look, Julian is just very good at doing his job, and you know, and as well as Christian Nuri. So, and you gotta remember, people don't sit there and think QPR is a team to talk about, if that makes sense. So yeah, which is a bit weird. Alfie Lloyd is a very good player to bring on in the game like that. I think Alfie Lloyd is, look, we've all spoken about Alfie Lloyd in previous seasons. You know, he went to obviously Lincoln last season on loan. Was it a good loan move? I'm not too sure, but I would sit here and say that I enjoy watching him play. I don't think he's a skillful player, but I think he's a pace player and is a very good team player. You know, he's very good on the ball, and look, when it comes down to games like Cardiff, Bolton, and possibly Lincoln, he would be a good striker to be on the pitch or on the bench. You know, one of them signings like that. So yeah. Let's sign bloody Raheem Sterling. Seed says, no thank you. I don't want Raheem back at QPR. I'm sorry to say it, but look, as much as he's a youth person at QPR, I don't think it'll be a good signing for Julian. I don't think he suits Julian's style of play. Raheem Sterling, in my opinion, only improved when he went under Pep. And that's my opinion on that. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm just saying when he was under Klopp, and then when he went to Man City, and when Pep went to Man City, he was a better player. He hasn't really exactly been an incredible player after that. But yeah, I think Liverpool, he was bloody brilliant under Brendan Rodgers coming into the team. But when he went to Man City, he didn't look great at the start until Pep taught him how to play the way Pep wanted him to play. So yeah, I don't want him personally at the club. I think he is a great talent, but I personally think, one, the wage as well, it would never happen. But I also think that he wouldn't be able to play Julian's style of play. You know, Julian looks like he has a certain type of player that he prefers. So yeah. But look, there's the comments anyway. What we've been on for 41 minutes. Jesus Christ. Oh, wow, damn. So, look, the Mikey Moore thing, I would sit here and say this, my final words. Until a reliable source comes out about Mikey Moore, I can't really say much about it. So, Mikey Moore, all I will say, and leaving it here, great player, will be a great signing for QPR. You know, he's not just a midfielder. He's an attacking threat as well, like Chair. He's a very creative player and can get into the box like Jalen Pearman does. So I'm happy with that for sure. But Mikey Moore right now is probably just rumours. Unless until we see something fully coming through, someone's just probably pulling our leg. So yeah, that's how I leave Mikey Moore. But I think Mikey Moore would be a great signing, personally. So yeah. But right now, obviously last week, apart from Dennis Sirkin, we obviously got news on players going out on loan. So Daniel Benny's been out on loan and he's not exactly having a terrific time at Dundee at the moment. His first game was okay, but he's had a tough opponent in Hearts, and he's also had a tough opponent, obviously, with what happened. Yeah, I'm not going to explain it, but yeah. He's having a tough time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they can get it back to normal. Hopefully, just needs time. But yeah, Daniel Benny pretty much, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, he's gone out on loan. We also have sent Tylon Smith out on loan. Now, this is the thing that I wanted to talk to you about, guys. Now, some of you might not like Tylon Smith. I think he's okay. Now, Tylon Smith, when he came in, obviously, he was a guy that was highly rated in the African leagues. So basically, he won best young African player of the year, which obviously Mo Salah's done as well, and some other great African players. Now, he is from South Africa, and he does play for South African national team. He does. And look, right now, when he joined QPR, it probably was difficult for him. But right now, I would sit here and say that he had a great game against Plymouth. But after that, playing against opponents that were in the Championship, he didn't really shine that well to what I was expecting. You know, he did have 2 penalties given away. And obviously, one penalty was a penalty, and the other wasn't, in my opinion. It was a free kick. And this loan move, obviously we have been saying a loan move for him would be great, but I also think that he may not be coming back. It's a bit weird that out of all the loan players that we've sent out, Tylon Smith has a buyout clause. So that just tells me one thing, and that is he's probably going to be leaving next season. Unless he proves himself out abroad. But I wouldn't say America is a great place to, to bring someone back from and say, here you go, there's first team. I think he's still good. I still think he needs a lot of work. You know, he's difficult to understand at the moment. But right now, going out on loan to America, and obviously pretty much a buy clause on that loan, it just tells me that it looks like he's probably going to be going. So yeah, then Jalen Pearman obviously has gone to, I believe, Swindon Town. Is that with, I think that's with good old Ollie, I think, ain't it? Let me just double check. Swindon Town, let's just double check. I think it's with Ollie, yeah. So it's with Ollie, and they've just signed Jalen Pearman. They have on loan. Great signing for them, honestly, on loan, and it's great for us because I highly rate Jalen Pearman. I think he's a quality attacking midfielder, whatever you want to call him, and hopefully he does really well at Swindon. You know, we've seen someone else go to Swindon and do really well, and I think, yeah, Ian Holloway, that's the one. Sorry, I keep forgetting his surname. Apologies. I shouldn't really be forgetting. That's bad, man. That's so bad. But yeah, Jalen Pearman has also gone out on loan. Hopefully all the best to him. I enjoy watching Jalen Pearman play, especially with the development squad. I think he's brilliant. I think he has a future at QPR. And the fact that like I said at the start of the season, we need to send these players to League One and League Two, not fucking National League. That's the positive sign for me. You know, Daniel Benny's gone to a good high team. Jalen Pittman's gone to a team where he can get first team football and in a competitive league. So these loan signings are brilliant, and it just tells you where we want to go. Now, Alex Wilkie obviously has left as well permanently, and it just looks like, to be honest, that we're clearing out some deadwood from the development side, and there's a certain way probably what we want to go. Instead of bringing certain players in, I think they just want to promote the under 18s into that development squad and see our own system pretty much go into the academy. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I've got no issues with that. You know, if there is a young player out there that wants to come to QPR and be in a development squad for now, happy days. So those guys have gone. All the best to them, especially Wilkie. I think Wilkie did well against Plymouth as well, but unfortunately no future at QPR. So all the best to him. I think he won't probably prove us wrong, but yeah, he's gone. That's all the outgoings anyway for now. Obviously there's rumours about Lakesh and stuff like that, but we don't know what's going on. There's not actually any full proof, but yeah, that's pretty much all the outgoings what I wanted to talk about. Foley says you're doing a preview show for Bolton with injury updates. I will be doing that, and it will be probably out on Friday or Thursday. I'm trying my best to get it out as quick as possible, but because of the transfer stuff, I was in such a mad rush to get certain things out last week, if you didn't notice. So yeah, it's kind of a mad one last week where Dennis Sirkin came in. I had to delay the fucking preview show, and also something I was creating with the for you guys. Obviously I did the what's it called, the predictions for the league, for the championship. So yeah, it was quite intense, but yeah, we got it done. A preview show hopefully will be out proper easy this week. I'm actually off for 2 weeks next week, so we got some crazy stuff organized, so hopefully fingers crossed you can stay tuned. So yeah, thank you Foley for that. Thank you Ryan for letting me know who that was. Steve, thank you for tuning in. Hope Koki and Kemper ain't out for too long. I don't think they will be, but I think we got good replacements for them for now, and hopefully all the best, and hopefully that they get back to normal and back in training as quick as possible, but in the best way possible, obviously. So yeah, Rod Kramer, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully I got that right. Hello from Detroit. Seeing yesterday's performance against last year was a massive difference. Never lost our heads after the goal, unlike last year. Yeah, look, the game was really good yesterday. You know, there was look, like I said, I'll put it like this. I'm happy with the result, but I still think we can do better. I really do. You know, like Julian said, if you watch the Millwall game, how we controlled that game so well, bang on. But Portsmouth, there was some sort of different plan and some different playing style. We used the counter attack a little bit more. We did, and it did work. And I'm happy with that. I really am. I've got no issues with that. But I agree with Julian. You know, we could have done a lot better yesterday, and I honestly think we could have finished that game with 4 or 5 goals. I really do. I think the biggest contest for us this season right now, looking at how games have gone, I'm more worried about, I would sit here and say, the game, there's 2 games tomorrow, so I can't really say too much, but I think Watford had a good game today. I really do. I think Watford had a good game today against Southampton, and Burnley came back against West Ham to draw 2-2. What a game that was. Yeah, that was a good game. So yeah, some crazy results. I think Wolves I'm worried about for sure. Blackburn did really well for them against them, but I do also think that that should never have been a penalty. And I've also got a video coming out about fucking stupid referees in EFL. So yeah, but yeah, great week of football, absolutely buzzing. Obviously Arsenal have won the Community Shield against Man City, just to end off the day. Absolutely brilliant end of the week. Love it. We got whatever comes this week with transfer news, and we got Bolton on Saturday back at home, our first game of the season in the league at home. Can't wait. We'll be live for that on Saturday. We will be, and yeah, we go from there. But I think apart from that, that's all the news. Apart from, I think Mikey Moore's discussed. We've discussed the outgoings. I would discuss about Mundle, but let's be honest, I don't think it's going to happen. If anyone saw my Twitter the other day, I posted something about Mundle, Remain Mundle, who would be a great signing for QPR on loan. But yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on with that. That's probably just obviously me being me, why I want to try and get into the club. You know, I've been mentioning these players. Terry Devlin was one of them, so yeah. But yeah, I think we've done great business so far. We'll probably have a transfer update soon this week. You know, it's almost the end of the transfer window, and that's where the nitty-gritty stuff comes in. And yeah, we go from there. So, apart from that, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. We've gone on for pretty much an hour. Not bad, not bad. So hopefully you have all a great evening. And we'll catch you on... the next live show will be Saturday for now, unless something happens this week. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All the updates, just go onto my social media, give me a follow, and yeah, we'll go from there. Apart from that, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, and have a great weekend. You know, QPR top of the league. We have one more game this week tomorrow, Wrexham Cardiff. See how that goes. And yeah, fingers crossed we stay top till Bolton. So yeah, hope you have a great evening. Peace, love, positivity, everyone. And have a great evening. I'll just say to Mr. Potato, I think that's why Mikey Moore might be coming in as well, if that is the case of Mikey Moore. So yeah, but yes, we'll catch you next week, people. Have a lovely day, weekend.